quick thank you to everybody for coming out tonight. It was great to see the big crowd. I felt this a big crowd. And thanks again for all your opinions and your comments.
And then Brian Opeth.
We had a student and learning committee meeting last Monday, and we just kind of set the agenda for the upcoming school year. And I'd like to, again, thank Julie for her great work tonight. It's a lot to put those presentations together, and there's a lot to digest. It was a huge lesson in civics tonight for our public participants. Thank you.
And next is Emily Zach.
I was surprised by the turnout that we had in the community. I definitely was not expecting that at all. I did want to mention the food drive that was mentioned isn't a food drive right now. It's a craft drive for Afghanistan refugees at Fort McCoy. And I think it's amazing that our school is doing that. And it's been like, I mean, since I remember in elementary school, we've been doing food drives and drives like this, and I've always thought it was a cool opportunity to give back to the community and show our support. And I mean, the competition for donuts, I mean, every kid loves donuts. I mean, who doesn't want to fight for some donuts? And it's not to try and bribe kids to bring in stuff from home. It's just to make it a little bit more encouraging, because not a lot of kids want to go out of their way to do some stuff sometimes. So it's just a little bit of a pat on the back, just, hey, let's go support these kids. And I agree with a lot about paying our teachers more. I have a lot of like close teacher friends, I like to say, and they always give me a hard time, like, hey, Emily, go to the meeting, help us get paid more. And like, I've never taken it seriously because, I'm just, the student rep on the board, I guess. But after hearing some of the more statistics, I definitely think that's something that could be done. And then a shout out to our volleyball team and our cross country team, all that they've done. They're making it far. Sad to see that our football season had to end. A lot of emotions last week, definitely. And then, of course, a shout out to our women's wrestling team that is starting up our first year as a sanctioned sport, which is really awesome, meaning we get duels. I don't know how many of you are familiar with the wrestling terms, but it's like the guys' competitions that have been going on for years, but now girls get to right now. And we have a lot of new girls coming out, which is really exciting. We had pictures today, so that was just so exciting. I don't know. Yeah, I was very excited. Okay, I'm all done now.
I'd just like to thank everyone that was here tonight. Some great comments and a lot of good support. The report was really good to hear. We had 96.6 graduation rate, which is, I lived in South Carolina. The county high school in South Carolina had a graduation percent of 53.5% in comparison. Our ACT scores are above state and comparable schools. We have a top-notch facility. We have the best teaching staff in Western Wisconsin. We got a lot of things going for them. The mill rate went down. I also have about 2 hours worth of notes I'd like to read about misinformation and so on, but I'll skip those. But I would, thank God, she says. I would like to just comment one thing about teachers' wages. Of course, I think you should go back and look at some of our meetings and some of the graphs and comparisons from other districts. If our wages were so terrible, why would our retention rates be so high? And why would we have the support of the teachers we had here tonight? And why do people want to come here and teach? And we have a high level of teachers that have a master's degree, and I truly believe we have the best teaching staff in Western Wisconsin. So you must be doing something right. We must be paying them well. So check those numbers, because there's no way that we could be $30,000, $40,000 from any school as far as wages are concerned. That's all I have.
And then Jennifer Deek.
Yep, I just want to thank everybody for coming out and speaking tonight. I appreciated all the comments. And I want to congratulate the girls tennis team, the volleyball team, and the cross-country teams this year. Things have gone great for our sports, and I love the sports. I guess, and then lastly, I just, the number of folks that turned out tonight and who showed that they were passionate about education here in Holmen. I was surprised by the number of folks that were here, and really grateful to see who all showed up. So thank you all for coming out, and that's all I have.
Thank you. Just a couple comments. I also would acknowledge Jennifer Wesley and I, oh, I'm sorry. Jennifer Wesley and I have something in common. I did not know that I was going to be paid when I ran for school board either. And I should have not mentioned her name. I apologize. But I remember a couple of school board members here who also said they were surprised when they learned that there was going to be a salary. I can't believe any of us are truly doing it to supplement our income. The 5% raise, I was surprised by that. That wasn't something that came from us, but I will tell you, if you follow current business climate, 5% is about what the CPI may be. And so we may be seeing or hearing about 5% in the near future as we begin to negotiate with our staff, because that is what the state legislator has identified as the one of the what we can negotiate for. And whether it may be in the low fours or up to 5%, it may be higher than that. But I think if you follow today's economy, that's what we're hearing from the experts, is that the CPI very well may be identified as 5% come this January, February. Anita mentioned the high-performing school boards and the work that we do. We also do follow those processes. We set policy, we set the budget, and then we hire the district administrator to do the day-to-day work. It is not our work to get into the micromanagement. Obviously, the board shares their opinion with the district administrator on these kind of issues, but we have been as successful as we have as a district over many years, I believe, because we have followed that practice. This isn't anything new. This is something that we have been doing for many, many years. So I just wanted to comment on those couple things, maybe some inaccuracies or some miscommunication, but I will note that we just had a workshop as a board addressing compensation, district compensation for all of our staff. So that is something that we are well aware of and are working on. As Brian mentioned, the Student Achievement and Learning Committee did meet and had our organizational meeting, and we're talking about next steps and some of the policies that we're going to be reviewing this upcoming year. I also would mention that I acknowledge sectionals for volleyball and cross country and other co-curriculars. I know this evening this space was being used by a co-curricular activity, which is awesome. That's what we want to see our buildings being, used for, and for the students. And so that's why we kind of hesitated and about planning for it someplace else if by chance we didn't have the turnout that we had. But to have 180 plus people participate is a good thing, because government should be of the people, by the people. That's what we really strive for. And it was, I will say, encouraging to see the amount of support that the board did receive from those who came out. So I just want to say thank you for coming out in good numbers to show the community a reflection of what the community really is feeling. So with that, I would note that we have the WASB regional meeting is coming up on the 28th of October. We have school board meetings coming up on the 8th and the 22nd. We have a board workshop on the 6th of December, and then we have board meetings going into December, I believe December 13th, and we'll have to have a discussion about whether we need to have a second meeting in the month of December. We do have a number of policies up for administrative rules that you would see. I just want to call attention to those. We probably won't spend a lot of time discussing them, but there are some unique ones: drones use on school property, commercialism in schools, facility funding, selection of architect engineer, site acquisition, student rep on the school board, learner goals, acceptable use of policy, and equal education opportunities. So if you have any questions about what they're doing under those for each of those committees and each of those policies, please reach out to the appropriate committee and they can provide you feedback. Oftentimes it's just housekeeping that's being done and the annual review. So if there isn't any other business to come before the board, I would entertain a motion to adjourn. Anita, is there a second? Chris? Okay, motion's been made and seconded to adjourn. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Opposed, nay. Motion carries. We are adjourned.